Okay, so good day everyone, especially to our research advisor, Sir Genesis Ginelsa, and to our panel one, Sir Larcel Pascual, to our panel two, Ma'am Lovely Prieto. I am Riza A. Tano, one of the researchers from Group Z093, together with my co-researcher, Battalion Norceline and Diona Ginez. So the title of our study is Virtual Delivery of Elementary Teachers in the New Normal, Practices and Implementation. Introduction. Virtual practices are important because they are patterns or sequences that the teacher thoughtfully and purposefully applies to ensure that the learning process runs smoothly. As a result of the online class adoption, teachers' communication strategies, summative assessments, and content delivery have to change dramatically. Only a few primary school teachers had prior experience delivering online classes, which was a significant problem. Around the world, the COVID-19 epidemic has created severe educational challenges. Many schools have closed to prevent one-on-one contact, prompting a shift in teaching and learning activities to online teaching and evaluation. When it comes to online learning, some teachers are even insufficient. In implementing online learning, teachers had challenges with learning tools, internet networks and devices, learning administration, evaluation, and monitoring. Research gap. The researchers had never heard of a study that looked into elementary teachers' virtual practices during the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite the fact that virtual schooling is becoming more popular, the study found that the majority of elementary teachers are oblivious of the virtual practices that will be used specifically for teaching in online environments. The researchers wanted to investigate how elementary teachers approach online teaching and what interactive techniques are applied in this setting. This study may cause anxiety among those who benefit from it, and it may lead to the development of action plans to enhance instructors' practices in the event of a pandemic. Significance of the study. This outcome will aid in the achievement of the CHED's standard education goal. Teachers also will benefit from the research in terms of employing the most effective virtual practices when managing online classes. As a result, these encounters may play a key role in bringing about a paradigm shift in the field of acquiring high quality education. The third is researchers interested in conducting research on elementary teachers' virtual practices in handling online classes may find this study valuable in the future. Pause of the study. The goal of this phenomenological study is to learn about elementary teachers' real world experiences in online classrooms, as well as the virtual practices they employ in the new normal to offer children a productive learning environment. Theoretical lens. This phenomenological study is supported by the proposed study of Green P 2018 entitled Teaching Practices for Your Virtual Classroom. Preparing for an online class takes longer than preparing for a face-to-face class. To be properly developed and implemented, online learning requires a larger commitment than face-to-face classes because online students can feel isolated and disconnected. It must be done carefully to avoid friction and disengagement. Okay, so I think that's the end of my part, and the next researcher who will continue to discuss or introduce our study is Batalia Norceline.
So good day everyone. I am Norcelin C. Batalya continuing our discussion. According to Gian Piaget, 1920 theory of cognitivism, educational leaders should keep the following aspects in mind when generating online classes, such as activities for instructional strategies, strategies should be included in web-based learning components, facilitating all sensing devices, putting more emphasis on the learner's attention by showcasing crucial and vital relevant data, justifying each instruction, corresponding the child intellectual level, learning abilities, and teaching approaches. All of these factors should help to boost the cognitive development. According to Kavanaugh, some discoveries in regard to virtual learning and its teachers have been suggested. For example, online educators are encouraged to adapt their face to face methods of instruction and pedagogical practices to the online setting. During the online classroom, the online teacher must build talents to stimulate engagement and conversation with and among students. This entails the use of instructional approaches that make use of and integrate available telecommunications capabilities to help students collaborate and learn. In review of related literature, in the new normal era, elementary teachers are finding it increasingly difficult to incorporate online learning techniques. When it comes to integrating online learning, teachers face various problems, including designing and providing a positive learning experience in a demanding and time constrained environment. So, this global epidemic revealed a large gap in elementary teachers' preparedness and preparation for emergency remote education, which includes procedures to ensure that children studying from afar continue to learn efficiently. Most elementary schools in India have switched to online learning technologies to keep academic tasks alive. So the primary teachers ensure that open lines of contact with parents and students are maintained so that their needs can be monitored and addressed on a regular basis. Online classes provide professors with a new way of teaching that incorporates advanced resources and software and can reach a huge number of students. So, here in the Philippines, to react to questions from kids and parents, elementary instructors must be available online at all times. Teachers engage students in virtual learning activities such as the collaborative effort to encourage them to study. They are creative, motivate their pupils to engage in active learning, and engage them in literacy development in order to achieve the desired learning outcomes. Teachers in Davao del Norte are having difficulties with online learning as they adjust to the new normal in education. Schools continue to encounter issues in developing an effective teaching atmosphere. So, elementary instructors confront several challenges in their efforts to meet the developmental requirements of their children in online education. Because teaching in a crisis comprises several unexpected scenarios and occurrences. Teachers must respond to shifting students' requests during a class, adapt to unforeseen problems involving student conduct, and change their teaching plans. So here are the research question. So this study seeks to answer the following questions. First, what are the experiences of elementary teachers in the online delivery of instruction? How do elementary teachers cope with the experiences? And the last one, what significant insight can be participants share on the delivery of online instruction? In the research participants, this research study are elementary teachers in Magugpo Pailo Central Elementary School who are responsible for teaching online. There will be 14 participants for this study. 7 elementary school teachers for in-depth interviews and another 7 elementary school teachers for focus group discussion. In selecting the participants, the researchers used purposive sampling in order for the identification and selection of information in related to the phenomenon of interest. So Jeanette Dionan will be discussing our the rest of our topic.
And now let's proceed to the materials and instrument. The researcher will use the interview guide as the study's instrument. This qualitative study will be based on a preliminary interview with the main questions and closing comments to find out what virtual practices of elementary teachers use and how they handled online courses throughout the epidemic. The questionnaire contains three preliminary questions, three main questions, five probing questions, and two concluding remarks. The identical set of open-ended questions will be presented to each participant with the option to elaborate as needed. All responses will be tagged to protect participants' privacy. Let's proceed to the design and procedure. The study will look at the elementary teachers' reaction to the new normal using a qualitative approach. Because life experiences are so relevant in this research. Phenomenology was used according to Criswell 1998. Phenomenology research attempt to comprehend people's perception, views, and understanding of a given topic. Phenomenology is the greatest choice when the research issue demands a complete comprehension of life experiences shared by a group of persons such as elementary teachers. Next, we'll begin by having them sign a consent from stating that their engagement is a view is the interview is entirely voluntary. Interviews will take place in the leisure time in person or by Zoom or another easily accessible media while following the ETF health standard. Secondly, they will be informed about the goal of the study and the significance of their involvement. Participants will be informed about the study's purpose, duration, and methodology, as well as the right to decline or leave at any stage. Finally, we'll underline that the data we collect is based on their thoughts, observation, and opinions. Participants' rights and preference must also be respected by the researcher according to Bohm 2013. Due to the current situation, teaching online is difficult at the present. Through interviews, we hope to hear the voices of elementary teachers who have never been heard before, as well as learn about their experiences teaching online. This qualitative approach follows Brown and Clark's 2006 six-step process. Collect data, generate initial codes, search for concept, review prospective themes, define and label themes, and produce the report. To ensure the study's authenticity, we will collect the data directly from our respondents in order to analyze or test the study's objectives. Confirmability is a strategy for maintaining objectivity according to Devo 1998. To establish dependability, researchers show the consistency and the validity of their findings. External validity is a subset of internal validity that relates to the extent to which a phenomenon or group of findings may be generalized. It can be enhanced by proving a clear interpretation of the research according to Brown et al. 2002. As a result, we must provide their safety and full security in order to maintain their trust in us. The researcher should not take full advantage of respondents' vulnerabilities and should conduct consent in a respectful manner throughout the study according to the moral rules set forth by Boyates 1998, Mack et al. 2005, which include the following: respect for individual citizens, consent, beneficence, confidentiality, and justice. Furthermore, beneficence necessitates the reduction of risk rather than the maximization of the amount owed to them. as well as the use of secrecy as a coding system for data and findings, as well as their safety. Finally, fairness requires that the research risks and benefits be spread equally. And these are our references that the researcher used. And that's all. Thank you.